Good evening. Morty's Diner, presenting a moment of relaxation and contemplation, meditation, decompression, after a day of YouTube featuring hate, viciousness, racism, anti-Semitism, vitriol, and belittling, Morty's Diner presents a late night time to decompress, relax, time to get ready for bed, time to soothe the nerves, release the tension, stress, and anxiety. Created by that content. So just relax. Sit back in your chair. If you're by a lake or the water, maybe go outside and enjoy the beautiful nighttime air. Just look out towards the vast horizon and the moonlit night. And release your woes and frustrations. Go to bed clear-minded and relaxed. You don't have to sit out by the lake in the daytime. It's just great at nighttime too. Look at the stars and the moon and the planets and relax. Breathe in deeply and exhale slowly. It's a good time for some alcohol. It's another idea to help you unwind from the hate, the racism, the anti-Semitism, the viciousness, the mishigas. Have a fine German beer, like Weihenstephaner, Kristall Weissbier. Have a Paulaner München Oktoberfest beer. Or a Hefe Weissbier, pardon my French, from the world's oldest brewery. Bavarian style Hefe Weissbier. Morty, right now I'm Morty, and I'm having my favorite brandy right now. From Spain, Fundador Solera, Brandy de Jerez. I'm sipping it right now. This gets top rating from myself, Morty. Oh. Today was very cold here in Portland. In the 50s. And rain. Good amount of, this was the first real day of rain we've had since summer started. Oh, man, you know, when you drink this Fundador brandy, not only is the fragrance incredible, but when you sip it, it warms up your mouth, and your mouth feels the sensations of the spirit makers who create this brandy in Spain. You can feel the warmth go down into your body as you swallow it. It's just great. Incredible product. Just savor this stuff. See, we have some people in the audience watching the show. Good evening, P. Clen. It's about 11:30 at night here, Monday night. And P. Clen is decomposing. Well, if you're going to decompress, you might as well go all the way. Great to see you, P. Clen. Hello, young Meech. He says, there's no one here at the diner. Well, certainly not eating alone. Good day. Herbal tea, please. Yeah, we have a good selection of herbal tea. Chamomile tea, one of my favorites. But tonight I'm not having chamomile tea. I'm having brandy. This stuff is just phenomenal. Hey, good evening, Dr. Bob's Nightmare. Morty, are you doing the No, tonight I'm having brandy. I don't really mix brandy and benzos. That's not wise to do. It's one or the other. And tonight is, I'm not going to say brandy a go-go, but it's a good cold, kind of rainy evening for some Spanish brandy. Great to see you, Bob. And GD from Argentina. How you doing? A barbiturate stream. Hey, that's a good idea. Hey, GD. Young Meech, how much to ban Watch Nicholas #1 simp, Dr. Oh, that's not nice. You think Dr. Bob is Watch Nicholas's #1 simp? I don't think so. But I really don't want to ban Dr. Bob. It's not a case of the money. You know, Dr. Bob is a great guest, friend of the channel. But for $500, we can ban him for 2 days. I don't want to be totally unrealistic. So $500, we can ban Dr. Bob for 2 days. But I would do that. I would accept the $500, but I would do so begrudgingly, because I really don't want to. There's no reason to ban Dr. Bob. I don't think he is Watch Nicholas's #1 simp. But the offer's there, young Meech. Thank you for the question. Morty doesn't bend people for money. Well, I would if circumstances were all aligned in order, I certainly would. Smooth jazz and opiates in a relaxed atmosphere. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. That's pretty nice when you look at it that way. The invite link is posted if anybody, well, I can't imagine why, but if anybody wanted to come on the panel, yeah, that would be okay. Dr. Bob's Nightmare. Cough it up, Meech. Don't be a cheapskate. Yeah, well, the offer's there. But I would really not like to ban Dr. Bob, even for 2 days. That's 2 business days, not 2 show days. Okay? Just clarifying that. GD, channel member, 100 Argentinian pesos. Thank you, GD. He says, would Hey Uzi be allowed back on the panel and back in your good graces if he sends the 1K as agreed? Well, that was the deal I offered, and I'll stick with that. He would be allowed on the panel. In my good graces, well, we would have to see how it went minute by minute. But yes, that's the offer stands. $1,000 Cash App or PayPal. Cash App is the best. It's instant, you know. And yeah, he's back on the panel. Of course, proper behavior, as for anyone here, is required. That goes without saying. I agree, Dr. Bob. $1,000 is a very good deal. Very good. It's a very good deal. I did, what was that, 2 days ago? Out of the kindness of my heart, and I was feeling good, I offered him a discount of $500, and which was more than reasonable, very fair. And he sent a $200 Cash App. But it was, the offer that day was for $500. And I mean, very reasonable, very fair. So I thought about it for 1, maybe 2 days, I guess. And I thought, well, 200 is a lot of money. It's a good amount of money, but the offer was 500 for that day. And so I'm not looking to take his money for nothing. Yeah, he did say, well, you can keep it, but the offer was, on that day, it was 500. So just to keep things clear, I refunded his 200. You know, no, ulterior motive or subliminal message in that action. It was a $500 offer, and 200 wasn't 500. So, and again, 200 is a good amount of money, but the offer was for 500. And again, as I said, it was discounted at the moment from 1,000. So the offer's there for 1,000. If he wants to come on the panel, I'll keep that offer open. Well, it's how you see it. Like I said, it's all how you see it. Yeah. Dr. Bob, a slow roll is a bad look for a guy with 2. Oh, the madness. Slow roll is a bad look for a guy with 2 solid gold Rolexes. Well, Dr. Bob, I mean, that's, that's a pretty reasonable comment or assessment, just looking at it impartially. I mean, yeah, So the offer's out there if he wants to come on the show. And again, the invite link is posted if anybody wants to join. By the way, GD, who's been watching the Crappy/Morty channel for a long, long time, he's always invited to come on the panel anytime he wants. So I think he said he works at night, so which is now here, so maybe he can't come on, but GD would be a phenomenal guest appearance. Just saying. Si, senor. You bet. You never know. He did come on one time for a matter of seconds. That was a year or two ago, which was startlingly surprising. But yeah, anytime. He knows he can come on. No problem. And again, of course, reasonably decent behavior is expected from just everybody here, Oh, this Fundador brandy is just... Oh. Here it is. I can't recommend this enough. Product of Spain. Fundador Solera. Pedro Domecq. Brandy de Jerez. From La Frontera, España. Kind of magnificent product. Now, of course, they're a great brand. There are many great brandies out there. I just happened to come across this one. In fact, it was a gift from a YouTuber. And actually, this was not a gift. This was a recommendation. That's what it was, a recommendation. So I went out and bought it. I don't remember the price, $29, $39, or $49. Something, maybe $29 or $39. Very, very reasonable for the amount of pleasure you can get from that purchase price. And this is widely available in the United States and probably in many countries. So, the German beer, I only recommend the real things that I buy, and I really like. I don't accept any. I'm not under any. There is no. Let me clarify this. There is no arrangement for compensation or promotional consideration from the Fundador Brandy Company, cash, product, merchandising, nothing. There's no arrangement between the Fundador Brandy Company and the Morty Steiner channel in any way with Fundador or any of its affiliate companies. Nothing. It's simply an honest vote of support for a great product. Dr. Bob, but GD, jump on and sing Happy Birthday, Marcelo, in your Argentinian accent. Wow. Hello, one. Good to see you. What does that mean? Birth week. Oh, I see. Right. Yeah, we're doing a little late night show, providing a moment of relaxation and contemplation from a day of hate, viciousness, pathological lying, racism, anti-Semitism, hate. It's, I don't make these things up. I mean, I see them. I have copies of everything. I mean, it's all there. I mean, nothing secret about it. It's all there on other channels. It's there, Maybe I am, Bob. Maybe I am the only one who notices these things, the viscountness, the racism, the hatred, the anti-Semitism. Maybe I am, Bob, the only one who sees these things. And the other viewers of those certain channels, they see it, but it doesn't register as anything bad. And That's very possible. Very possible. But I think other people see it, but they just don't say anything. Some people probably agree with the hate. They're into it because they're haters themselves, and racists, and all kinds of but betalalaling viscountness behavior. But people don't even see it when they're looking right at it, or they hear it right in their headphones. Fundador is founder in Espanol. Now, I didn't know that, so thanks for that translation, Bob. I think I was told that when I purchased the product by someone who was a Spanish speaker, but that was some years ago. I didn't recall, so that's good to know. Who are these people? They're the UFO people living on the planet, the aliens in various human-like forms. Yeah, many people just don't care, which is, it's sad. It's sad how people cannot care about important things. Bart Simpson, hello. A lovely smell of tear gas on the evening breeze tonight. Yeah, the troops, the National Guard, has not yet been deployed here on the streets of Portland, as per President Trump's directive, order, but they're coming maybe tomorrow. I don't know their schedule when they will arrive. But I'm telling you the truth, when they're downtown on the street, I'm going to be walking around with boxes of voodoo donuts, offering them to the troops, if they'll accept them, And I may even wear my MAGA hat, my MAGA cap. With all the National Guard troops on the streets, that would be the only time imaginable to safely wear any MAGA apparel. Of course, I'd be, just in case, but with the National Guard there, it would be just wonderful. Yeah, okay. Yes, it does. No question about it. Anyway, I'm relaxed, very relaxed right now. This brandy is wonderful, and I felt very relaxed for the day. I had that great 6 hours outside walking, and I'll tell you, yesterday I didn't feel any pain from walking, but today the calf muscles in my legs are really sore because there was a lot of walking and slight uphill walking, and 5 hours of it really, made an impact in my calf muscles. But those will be fine tomorrow, and I'll go out again tomorrow and stay out most of the afternoon doing a lot of physical activity and walking. Egad, what? Will you be buying the National Guardsmen the cock and ball donuts? No. They might get a kick out of that, but no. And besides, the cock and balls donuts were $7.50, if I remember. And the other donuts were like, $2, $3. And the other donuts were very good. I mean, I cannot deny that Voodoo Donuts was very good donut quality. And as I mentioned on that show I did, I was very surprised. I thought it would be just awful quality. But I'll buy them like, the basic assortment of, likable variety of donuts. And I will go down and pass them around. And I will wear my MAGA hat. And I can't wait till they come here. It'll just be great. Of course, the mayor and the governor, the lesbian, lunatic, left-wing fanatic governor, she says everything's fine in downtown Portland. There's no need for National Guard. President Trump is way out of line. And that's what she said, though, 4 or 5 years ago when the city was in flames. Well, that was the previous. In fact, that was the previous governor, Governor Brown, who was also a demented, lunatic, liberal, and a lesbian, bisexual. She was married, but a bisexual, / lesbian. She said the same thing. There's no need for National Guard to be in Portland. We've got it under control as the city is literally crumbling in ashes and flames and riots. The Democrats just sit by and do nothing. Yeah. Hello. Good evening, Spring. Dr. Bob, were the balls cream filled? Yes, they were. If they are, the price isn't unreasonable. No, they're worth the $7.50. Every slurp and squirt you can get out of that $7.50 was there. It was in the product. It's not like you pay $7.50 for the cock and balls donut, and it's like, what is this? There's nothing. But it was jam packed with cream all through it, and veins, and it was in bright color, all kinds of coloring, and girthy, and it was very good. I ate the some of the balls and some of the tip area. It was very, very good donut. Kind of like a Bavarian cream chocolate-coated donut, you know? But it was in a unique design. But I would say the price is reasonable for what you get. Yeah. The real test of success is being able to wear a MAGA hat in public. Well, in Portland, you just can't do that. You just can't. But when the National Guard is downtown on the streets, if I heard correctly, I think they said he ordered 200 Oregon National Guard troops to hit the streets of Portland. I think 200 is a good number for downtown. Yeah, that'll be good. I mean, something like New York City or Chicago or Washington, D.C. Well, New York and Chicago, I would order in. Oh, I would want Trump to order in 1,000 or 2,000. You know, if you're going to do it right. But he knows he can figure out the optimum number of guardsmen by consulting with the proper people in charge. I think 200 is a good number. Because there'll be no rioting on the streets, no murdering, mugging, pimping, whoring, gangbanging. When the guardsmen are patrolling the streets downtown, it's just going to be great. So we're here just, for a while, not too long. A nice end of the day time for relaxation and decomposing, as someone said before, decompression. Get a massage. Do some stretching. Take a hot bath or a shower. Have a brandy. Have a German beer, or whatever beer you might prefer, whatever your choice. If you're into benzos and dope and drugs and all that, hey, none of my business. Whatever you like. We're open-minded here at Morty's Diner. Dr. Bob, I have a red fishing hat, and people get nasty without even reading it. It says, Bob's Bait Shop, Master Baiter. But unhinged people just jump to conclusions. Well, that's to be expected. If they see a red hat, that's enough to set them off. I mean, if you're wearing a red hat and all it said was Texas Tech, football, they won't read that. They'll just see the red hat and come after you swinging. So, here's a good question. I think you mean Crocs. Cox, that's the Cox Talk, that's on all those other channels. We don't do cock talk here. Are Crocs Suitable footwear for unsanitary street conditions. That's a very good question, Bart. I've never worn Crocs. I've certainly seen them. They're very easy. People see them. They're very common to find. People wearing. I would say no, they're not suitable in those kinds of unsanitary street conditions. But then again, if you're a liberal, you're not a sanitary person to begin with. You don't shave, shower, shampoo, douche, take a bath. You stink of vape smoke and, beer and pot. You stink like shit, so the unsanitary thing wouldn't really apply. Now here, are Crocs ever suitable? Nice. That's a very good point. A good question. Uglier than those lesbian shoes from the 70s. Lesbian shoes from the 70s. Wow. You mean boots? Doc Marten boots or something like that? Or what are lesbian shoes? Oh, earth shoes. Wow. I've never had those. I remember those. Yeah. Hey, Aussie Expat. Great to see you. All my adult life, I've worn Crocs. I have 3 pair on rotation right now. Wow, how about that? And you're not even a lesbian. Pretty good. Oh, we have a guest backstage. Thank you, Spring. I was staring at the glass of brandy and I didn't see that. Spring and Fialta, good evening.
Hey, Morty.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Great. Are you relaxed tonight?
Yeah, I'm having an old fashioned.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm having the brandy there, and
Fundador or Fundador.
Are there better brandies? Oh, of course, sure. But for a very fair priced bottle, this stuff is really superb. But I'm not a brandy, expert. But this stuff is great, and of course there are obviously much higher priced and even finer ones. By the way, I want to tell everybody I saw Aussie Expat's channel. He had a video of him and Mrs. Expat picking up the new. It's unbelievable. The gold Rolex Land Dweller. What a video! Wow, you got to look at that. What can you say? This guy has everything. I don't mean that as a sarcastic comment. Aussie Expat's got it all. Maybe he doesn't, but he does. In my opinion, if he wanted to leave his house right now, get in his car, and go to a 24-hour Chick-fil-A, or go to Caesar's Palace and eat at one of the restaurants inside, he can do it. Put it on his credit card, not even think about it. If you can do that and not have to think about it or worry about it or, gee, do I have the money for that? Then you've got it made, man. Yeah, no question. Here in Portland, you can't do that because everything closes at 9 o'clock, which is kind of true. Taco Bell is open till 1 or whatever, but that's not food. That's just, But there's nothing here in Portland. Bars are open late at night, but
is Portland a bars up until 2 or bars up until 4 place?
I'm not a bar going guy, but they're open late. Probably 12.
They're trying
12, 1 or 2, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to keep bars up until 4, which would be a big mistake around here.
Yeah. When I lived in Seattle, the city council passed an ordinance. Was it the city or maybe it was the state? They allowed gas stations to sell beer, which wasn't the previous case in Seattle. So they allowed gas stations now to be well stocked with beer, which in many cities is very common. You pull in, you get a beer, you get in your car, and you open up the beer and drive away. But and I thought back then, this is like 15 years ago. Oh, that's all we need here in Seattle. people walking into a gas station at 1 o'clock at night and getting a pack of smokes and a couple, what do you call those? Colt 45 malt liquors, and
Oh yeah, those are good.
getting back in their car and hitting the streets, just great. Yeah.
No, I had I had to have one, so I had one once, and it it was an interesting flavor. It's a lot better than I thought. I mean,
Hmm.
I wouldn't, they're really high in alcohol content, so I guess you want to get a quick
Yeah,
fix.
yeah, yeah.
And they're cheap, but it wasn't a horrible flavor.
I've
Um,
never tried one. I mean, I've seen the Colt 45, and I think the other one is called Old English 800.
yeah, and then they have got Big Mouth, somebody's Big
Oh,
Mouth,
I
or
don't know that one. Yeah, but those have been around forever at the liquor store, convenience store thing. And, you know, um,
there
Aussie
are
says health is the real priority and working on it. Okay, fair enough.
I uh, there are states um, where you can drink and drive as long as you're not drunk. And if you have like Coors Light and you're only drinking one every hour or something, you'll never
Hmm.
really be drunk. So I don't know if there's very many states like that anymore. That used to be true in Texas.
Mm.
It might be true in places like Wyoming or Montana. And there was a guy who told me that he would not have survived because he had a Volkswagen Bug that had no air conditioning.
Hmm.
So he had to drive through there in the middle of the summer in Texas, and so the Coors actually kept him alive because he was constantly
Wow.
pounding that
Yeah.
down.
Now that you mentioned Coors, I remember growing up in New York. I guess I was a teenager or college age around that, and Coors was not sold in New York. And a lot of my beer drinking, high school, college age friends, they talked about Coors as this, unobtainable product from Colorado. And I remember they said it's not refrigerated or it can't be refrigerated and shipped to New York or something. I don't remember what it was. But eventually that changed. And of course, Coors is nationwide. But at some point, it was not available in the 70s.
Well, for a long time, it was one of the few non-union plants. So there's a lot of people that were protesting them,
Ah, I see.
and they finally got unionized, and then all
Uh-huh.
of a sudden now they're acceptable. And
Right.
if you've lost the union members, I mean, back then in the 70s and 80s when we actually had unions that weren't like teachers unions or other pathetic unions, then you lost a good chunk of your audience.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So imagine it was actually surprising that Coors survived as long as it did. But that's
Yeah.
a nice tour. If you ever go to Colorado and you go to Golden, that's a good tour.
Golden, Colorado. Yeah, right.
They have the
Um, yeah.
Coors tour.
Diamond Dubsy is here. I guess that's T Dubs. So good evening, Diamond Dubsy.
That's a nice
And
watch.
Diamond Dubsy prefers Colorado sandals, real leather. I've never been a sandals guy. Never.
I
think
finally bought
they
sandals.
look strange. They look weird. So I never
I
wear them.
I bought sandals only because I want to be able to slip something on if I have to go outside real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I don't for whatever reason any kind of slip-on thing always falls off on my feet. So it's either really difficult to put on or it really comes off easy. So getting like slippers didn't really work for me.
Schlitz malt liquor. I like the rampaging bull commercial. Is Schlitz malt liquor still a product available? Because I remember that sounds like a long time ago. Schlitz.
There's that those commercials where like the guy dives out of the airplane and ends up on a table and this beautiful waitress comes and gives him his drink and stuff like that. I don't know if that's Colt 45.
Oh, I
Maybe
don't know.
they had that very unique song. Deet 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 deet.
Wow.
That was a nice. I like those commercials. They're very classy, which is
Yeah.
kind of funny. They made this very classy commercial for this very unclassy product.
If I remember correctly, and I think I do, James Coburn was hired as the voice of Schlitz for their TV radio commercials.
Huh.
And he talked, and I think that was James Coburn, and it was Schlitz. And I remember him on the Tom Snyder show or some talk show, and he said, what a great deal. I go to the studio for 1 hour and say, Schlitz. But in his James Coburn voice, Blitz, you know. And they sent me $500,000 or whatever he said, So best job I ever had, he said. Yeah.
That was the main plot of that movie. With Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson in Japan.
Oh, Lost in Translation.
Lost in translation. He just
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
hold the whiskey in his hand and
right,
say a couple words and then go out and get in
right.
trouble.
Lot of super famous actors did commercials in Japan, but not in the U.S. I mean, it's an A list of Charles Bronson, Dustin Hoffman, Harrison Ford, and many of them. They don't want to be seen as a TV whore, commercial whore, but in Japan they think they'll take the $1 million and do the commercial, and nobody here will see it really.
Do you hear about all the comedians that are going to Saudi Arabia and getting $1 million to go and do some yucks in front of the Arabs? That's
Really, Arab? What do you mean Arabs? You mean the Saudis?
Yeah, Saudis. Well,
yeah. And really, how can I get in on that?
be funny.
That's my forte. Yeah, I'd crack them up unbelievably. Well, they wouldn't let me in, so.
Well, you could do the borscht belt thing. You could go back and bring back all the old jokes.
No, they wouldn't. I wouldn't be on their approved lists in Saudi Arabia. And but that's whatever. Adolf Kors had a bad reputation. It's true. I don't know anything about Adolf Kors.
Well, the name like Adolf, he's probably German, so there's probably issues. Maybe like Bayer and all these other companies that had.
Well, I mean, yeah, Adolf's just another name, Aussies. I'm sorry. Oh, this brandy is getting to me now. Wow. Aussies drink beer by the jug. I believe that.
Did you ever see the movie Once We're Warriors? It was sort of like a documentary about the Maori people in New Zealand.
Oh, that sounds familiar, but I've never seen that.
They would go to these bars, and they would go to the bar, and they would pick up, and it would be like one of those the old wooden sort of boxes that you would carry like 8 milk bottles in, like the milkman would bring to your house.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd be like 8 beers, right? And they'd bring it back to the table and they start pounding the beers. I mean, they were advanced alcoholics. That was amazing, those scenes.
Yeah. Splits came from Milwaukee. For the foreigners out there, Milwaukee is one of the famous American beer cities. And St. Louis, of course, for the
baseball team is
the Budweiser company. Right? Yeah. And Schlitz came from Milwaukee. Now it's made by St. Louis. Made in St. Louis by Budweiser. Okay, so Schlitz still is a brand out there. I don't know. I didn't know that.
A lot of these have combined, like Coors is now combined with the what's the main beer up in Canada?
Molson's, Labatt's, Moosehead.
So Coors Molson is now a company.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
And Anheuser-Busch, that company is InBev or something. Yeah, InBev, and that they own like 100 different.
Oh, really? Wow.
Beers.
Yeah, some of the Canadian viewers on the channels they like to drink a Canadian beer called Bone Shaker.
That sounds good.
Yeah, which is a higher alcohol, higher than 5.2 or whatever it is, and they all say it's double thumbs up for Bone Shaker.
Yeah, I think Molson in Canada gets the same rep as Bud in America and Foster's in Australia. It's like, well, that's what the tourists drink.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So,
right.
I liked Foster's, but I most of the time I drink Foster's when I'm really thirsty, and it's got those big old cans. So I'm
yeah. Those are sold in all the supermarkets here, Foster's, and the cans are big. Yeah,
it's more about quantity than quality necessarily.
Right. Diamond Dubsy, are you really T Dubs? Did you see that Tiger trainer got mauled. What is that about? I
Is that a
don't
new
know.
one? It's a new one because that was
I don't know about that.
a long, long
Mm.
time ago. I saw that. Yeah, there was a guy. He had a. They had pictures of him, the tiger, and he's kind of, their faces are together, and he's holding him like, like a good dog or something. But I guess the tiger finally went tiger on him, just like the what is it? Those two guys that had the white tiger, years and years ago.
Oh,
And
Siegfried and Roy.
yeah, so I think a similar thing happened to this guy.
Yeah, I don't know it. Yeah, yeah. I never saw Siegfried and Roy in Las Vegas. It never interested me, that kind of act. I don't know if a Diamond Dubsy really is T Dubs. I just looked at his channel and there's no content at all. So it might be an imitator.
No, I was just in Vegas about a week or two ago, and there's a lot of stuff I wanted to do. I was with a friend of mine, and he had different ideas of what he wanted to do, so we ended up doing different things, and I kind of missed out on stuff. Next, if I go again, I'm going to make a plan and get reservations to certain shows ahead of time.
Right, right. Did you ever see Wayne Newton in Las Vegas?
I didn't like his voice; it was too high pitched.
Me too. I never liked his singing voice.
If
I never really cared for him as an entertainer at all, actor, singer, TV personality. I just never interested. But 5 or 6 years ago, I did go to Las Vegas, and the person I was with got on Caesar's Palace. They got free show, and one of the free shows in the package was you could choose this or that. It was Wayne Newton, and he was performing in a small room called Cleopatra's Barge. Maybe 250 people, okay? And I thought, Wayne Newton, oh, Jesus, Anyway, so we went to that, and the room was completely full. He came out in a full tuxedo presentation. He had a small band, bass, drum, and a piano, I think. And he did a complete hour and a half show, maybe 2 hours. He gave it 101%, like he was performing in the main 5,000 seat theater. I'm not joking. And this guy, when I finished watching the show, I had to say to myself, this was a master showman. This guy's a master showman, like Liberace, master entertainer. I don't care for his singing at all, but he had singing, some comedy, some storytelling, some guitar playing. He worked his ass off, and I was really impressed. Unbelievable performance. You just don't see that. He's old school 1950s performer ethos. He really just gave it everything, and just incredibly impressive. Yeah.
I was just thinking. So the one comedian, Rita Rudner, I've heard her, and I like her style of comedian.
Yeah.
Very classy, and still is very funny and insightful. And she's still in Vegas. And if I had remembered, I would have tried to get tickets to her show.
Yeah, I liked her. She was cute, and she was funny. She was a good comedian. Yeah.
And I don't know. I know you don't like them, but I would like to see once. I'd like to see Penn and Teller once, but.
Oh, they perform at the Rio. They have a residency at the Rio, and I just I don't care for the tall guy, whatever his name is.
Well, yeah, he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah, he's an asshole, a total lunatic leftist, and
he's more
and
of
the act itself. I've seen him on TV, so I just don't have any interest in seeing them.
He's a libertarian libertard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just don't have an interest in seeing them. But boy, they've been there a long time in Vegas.
Yeah, I watched that. I watch for free. Yeah, have you heard about these orcas that are tipping over boats?
No.
Yeah, they're ganging up and they're actually pushing boats over. It's crazy, like little
Wow.
yachts. If you have smaller yachts.
Is this in any particular location?
I think in the Mediterranean.
Really? Wow.
So you have the tigers are eating their owners, and you have the of course, the pit bulls are always doing their thing with little babies and such.
Mm.
And of course, you got the stupid people who say, "Oh, my pit bull's such a sweetie."
Yeah, you always bump into those people. Look at him. Isn't he just the cutest little doggy, little puppy? He wouldn't harm a fly. You know, but it's their nature. It's in their nature. If you just scratch them scratch a little away at the surface, it's in there. I mean, some of them might just be the most loving dogs, and I don't rule that out. But yeah,
I used to think about banning them, but now I think it's sort of like Darwin. It's Darwinian. It's
I would rather ban the people who want to own pit bulls and say, "Oh, aren't they just lovely? They wouldn't hurt a fly." Those people should be banned. But Art Simpson, yeah, I saw that the scumbags at the United Nations stalled the escalator, trying to make Trump and Melania fall down. They also fucked up his teleprompter, but he did a speech totally ad lib. He didn't need the teleprompter because he's Trump. And they did one other thing to try and fuck him over, and they didn't succeed.
They were going to like have it in a different. They were going to have it in the different country because he wasn't going to let like the Palestinians have a seat or whatever.
Oh yeah, I would say throw the UN out of New York City. Just throw it out. It's just all it is a den of espionage agents and lawbreakers. Throw them out, and the U.S. should just leave the United Nations because it means jack shit.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with that for like up until the last 5 minutes because, we find out that our country has decided that we can make more money, or at least a few people can make more money in the services industry rather than in manufacture. And they make more money by sending all our manufacturing to India and Malaysia, and Cambodia, etc. And so when we're trying to talk about like just supplying, basic munitions to, Israel to defend itself and to Ukraine and such as that, NATO or whatever, turns out we can't keep up with the Ruskies and the Iranians and such because we don't have the manufacturing capabilities anymore. Now we could ramp up, but it's going to take several years. And to me, it's like, if you don't have the big stick, you got, who is it that said that diplomacy is the art of saying nice doggy until you can find a big stick? Well, right now we need to start saying nice doggy until we can get that big stick again. And so the UN, however ineffective it is, every once in a while it does something, even if it's accidentally, it does something okay. They send in the blue hats or whatever, the white hats with the blue uniforms, and sometimes they quell things. And if we're gonna worry about can Elon and Zuckerberg and those idiots make more and more money by not really making real things but just making software and IP and all this other crap, and we don't have any real stuff
right
that we make anymore, then we need to just go back to diplomacy, however ineffective it is, And I know there's people that say, "Oh no, we've got the best military in the world," and blah 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 blah. But we saw what's happening in Ukraine.
But how much of it is dependent upon foreign material to keep it going?
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't know we still have iron ore in America. We can still actually make our own steel. Right?
We can make everything.
We even have bauxite. We can make our own aluminum. I thought we'd have to go to Chile or whatever. But and we even have rare earths. But every one of these things is more expensive if we do it ourselves than if we let Chinese or
let it be more expensive so we can have total control. By the way, on your point about rare earth minerals and all that stuff, once we annex Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, we will have unbelievable access to rare earth minerals, gold, platinum, uranium, oil, cattle, beef, wheat, agriculture. I mean, it'd just be unbelievable.
The good part of Canada.
All the good stuff, yeah. And because we're not taking in Quebec, because they have nothing to offer us except poutine and beaver wool caps. Quebec has nothing. What does Quebec have that they can offer the United States? Is, hey, we want to become one of your states. I mean, literally, they have French speakers and poutine, and
They have a beautiful old
nothing.
city, right? So if
Well,
you
they have a
tour,
beautiful old city, but there's nothing they can offer in being a U.S. State. Nothing. We don't want French speakers because they'll demand bilingual everything, and no, man, no, it's not going to fly. So I say Quebec is for, Quebec is for Canada, and let it stay there.
so let the French make it a commonwealth, a French
I
commonwealth.
think I don't know why this isn't the case, but they're so proud of being French. Why don't they become part of France? France would take them, and
Exactly.
they would love being part of the French nation. Why not?
Martinique. I went to Martinique a long time ago. That's still part of France. They vote.
Yeah,
People in Martinique vote in French elections.
yeah. I don't know if Tahiti but France has places around the planet. I mean, certainly they used to have many more, like Devil's Island and stuff. But yeah, let Quebec be part of France. Let Alberta and Saskatchewan become part of the U.S. or independent, where we can have, deals, with the independent nation of Quebec and I mean of Alberta and Saskatchewan, and be great. And then Canada can just be the rest of it,
I think.
minus
Yeah.
minus
Well,
those three areas.
you got Prince Edward Island, and what's the other one on the very far that everybody wants to go to on the very far eastern coast of Canada?
Halifax, Nova Scotia,
Yeah, Nova Scotia. Everyone's going to.
right?
Those could become part of like Maine or something.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well,
Just get
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the Nova Scotia people are really like in St. John's and all those. I'd have to find out more about it. But
they're kind of lefties, but I don't know if they can we get more fish and stuff from them. And
I mean, I don't know, but the maritime provinces are all just beer and fish oriented.
what's so bad about that?
There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I don't know if they're American,
Yeah, I don't. I don't
American like. I don't know, but so that can be Canada. Canada can be whatever's left over from
we can
Western Canada, and
we can give Maine to Nova Scotia. They can create a new country with Maine, and they can have all their Somalians over there, and they can keep their Somalians.
oh
Out.
yeah,
So just take Maine. We don't care.
okay. Is Maine Somalian heavy?
Yes, I mean there
Oh,
were
really?
stupid because there's a bunch of Somalians that were sent to Atlanta, which made sense because they could get native speakers and all the other. It's a big city, right? So they can have
Hmm.
all the services and stuff. But then one or two Somalians somehow made their way up to Maine and said, "Hey guys, these guys give more benefits," so they all moved up to Maine.
Oh, I don't know about the Somalian thing in Maine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're in Maine and
Well, they've taken over. There's
Minnesota.
a clip of a mayor of Dearborn or some Michigan place, and he says, "This is Somalia. It's all Somalia, and
That's weird.
fuck you, American people, kind of thing."
That's weird because I thought the Dearborn was Muslim.
Well, one of those cities up there.
Well,
So all you Christians and American fanatics, this is get out of here. But the guy was arguing with some Jew-hating Christian fanatic. This is true. On some clip, he was complaining to the city council, and the mayor told him, "You're a hater, and get the hell out of this town. We don't want people like you." Meaning, we don't want Christian white people like you. This is a Muslim city. We don't want you.
so well, yeah. Well, I live in California. There's parts of Los Angeles that are, that are basically northern Mexico. So
Sure, well, that's true. Yeah.
they tend to be more welcoming because they want your money, but don't go there after night. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Dr. Bob, I asked Ray about the orcas, and he says I don't know who Ray is. Okay.
You remember that guy? You can call me Ray. You can call me Jay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was funny for a while.
That was funny for a while. Yeah. That was a comedy group called the something trucking company, or
Oh, keep trucking.
I can't remember. That was in the late '60s era. Yeah.
But he ended up doing his own thing. He was on. He would.
You can call me Ray. You can call me Jay. You can call me Jay Ray. But you don't got it. Yeah, right. Yeah. See, that routine wouldn't be acceptable today because they say, "What do you mean you?" But you don't got to call me. So you can't do that now. Okay. AD never calling. He's up late. Says, "Hello. We cannot annex Alberta. Oh, sure, they're the most conservative of all Canadians, but are still fundamentally liberals." They'll complain constantly. In Canada, we had this or that. Bad idea. I'm for them if they want to have become their own sovereign country. Well, and then we just have deals, United States and Alberta. That'd be great, or Saskatchewan as well.
They won't like
That would be the best thing.
they won't like our medical system, right? Our health system.
Well, they'll complain about stuff, but if they become their own country, that'd be terrific. Then Trump can have all kinds of deals with them, and Montana can do all kinds of deals with them, and North Dakota, and that'd be great.
They get that pipeline going again.
Absolutely, yeah. At age 62, Julian Lennon has admitted he hated Yoko Ono. Well, doesn't everybody hate Yoko Ono? Anybody who considers, there are people out there, even back in the late 60s, who considered Yoko Ono a real artist, a real creative talent. And she actually, had record albums, and music stuff. And people would go to her. She would do music concerts, and people would, demented lunatic New Yorkers and stuff. They would say, "Oh, she's such a unique artist. She's wonderful. She's." So anybody who likes Yoko Ono, period, is just suspect.
Well, there was this movement like in the late 70s, early 80s called performance art.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I used to dabble in, I used to go look at that stuff because more for like looking at a car accident kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there was a museum called LACE, and I think it was all acronyms. I think Live Action Contemporary Exhibit or something like that is what it stood for. And so you'd go in there, and they would have these films on the wall of these people doing silly things. That people, you heard about some of this stuff, like people crawling over broken glass and people covering themselves in various things, people screaming, feminist stuff and whatnot. And it was all very, very, very amateur hour. It's like, well, wait a second. There have been people that have been making movies, even bad movies, since 1800s. And these people just get up and they get on, like, most of it was videotape, so it was really poor quality visuals, and they would just do silly things. And Yoko Ono was a performance artist, and so we were supposed to be in awe of these people. Oh my God, they're fighting the patriarchy, they're fighting against racism, they're fighting against blah blah blah, right? But they were just doing an amateur hour, like a public access television station show, and she was one of them. And to have somebody like Lennon, who's most people consider a creative genius, who created all these, wonderful songs for the Beatles, and he had the skills to play all these instruments, et cetera, for him to somehow be attracted to this joke.
Yeah, it's
wasn't even that attractive.
One of those. It's one of those things you can't figure out. The performance artist thing, which started in the late 60s, probably. I've always felt, even from the very beginning when that was going on, people who call themselves a performance artist, they just aren't good enough at any single artistic endeavor, like playing a musical instrument, good enough, okay, or being a painter or a sculptor or a dancer or a poet or whatever the art form. But they do a little, but they can't be full effort at their single thing, So they just call themselves a performance artist, and they suck at everything, And there may be one or two exceptions, okay, but in general, that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, one of the exceptions was a guy named Chris Burden, and he was an art professor at UCLA, so he had a real job. And he did he did some performance art, and it always had a sense of humor. So, like, he had this silly thing where he went to Kansas City, he sat in a chair in the museum, and he put a ski mask on. And the title of his work was "You'll Never See My Face in Kansas City." And that was it. He just did that for a weekend or whatever. And it was just, it was just a kind of a one-line joke that he did. And he had a whole bunch of things like that he did that, you could say, okay, that's kind of silly, but at least it had some sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
He also did these things called installations, where instead, these are things that would sit on the floor of the museum. And he had some pretty cool ones. He was the first person to do a scale model of the solar system. So he had like
Mhm.
a beach in the museum. He had a beach ball, and that was the sun. And then he had every planet, and the sun being that size, everything was to scale as far as the distance and the size. So, for example, you had to go all the way to like City Hall in Newport Beach, and there was this tiny BB, and that's Pluto. But he had everything measured out, everything was exact, and that's kind of cool. And since then, a lot of people have done the same thing. And it's kind of a fun little thing because you can have kids that can go to all the different places where the planets are,
Mm.
and they can learn about things. And he has a couple of works at the LA County Art Museum. He's collected all these lampposts, and he put them together at the front entrance. And if you look at a picture of the front entrance of LACMA, you'll see this, a bunch of things. And then also he has this huge track with all these interconnected tracks, and he has these little like matchbox cars
Mm.
that go up a ramp, and then they go down all these different paths, and it just continuously runs, all these cars going up and down these paths. And it's kind of a fun thing to watch. And okay, is it great art? Is it Mona Lisa? Is it the Renaissance? No, but it has a sense of humor. It required some thought, and it requires some actual physical activity to get the whole thing put together.
Mhm.
And so I kind of, to me, he's the exception to the rule of people like Yoko Ono.
Yoko Ono had, well, everything's been said about her. I have nothing to add to that. But yeah. Yeah. So 15 people watching, really? Hey, yeah, that's right. Everybody, thanks for watching. Would you give my show a thumbs up? Doesn't cost anything. I mean, you can give it a thumbs down too, but it would sure help out the channel. Thank you very much. And there are people who bought Yoko Ono CDs, record albums back then, and just amazing.
I think she just screams on some of them. I mean, who wants
She just
to hear
screams.
that?
Yeah, it's just it's not art. It's just crap, bullshit. That's all. No offense to John Lennon, but I would say that to him. Deep down he must have known that, or maybe he didn't. Maybe I don't know. How can we know? But
They just might have been in tune politically as far as being liberal and stuff, and that was the most important thing. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, who knows? Yeah. So, yeah. What are you doing up so late?
My schedule screwed up when I was in Vegas. My friend and I shared a room, and he snored like a bejesus, and I didn't get any sleep at all. So for 3 days, I had like no sleep. So I'm still trying to catch up on my sleep. So
why would a successful guy like you bother sharing a room? You can afford your own room.
He's not doing as well, so next time.
So why didn't you get a nice room at a nice hotel and tell him to stay at Circus Circus? It's only $15 a night.
He's gonna do that, and I may never go to Vegas again. I might go, but I may never go. But he's really interested because he lives in a city that has Allegiant. So they have Allegiant Airlines, which is the one that owns the stadium for the Raiders in Vegas.
I see. Yeah.
They have flights from Indianapolis, I think, to nonstop to Vegas, and they get deals, right? If you get their flight, you can get a hotel for cheap, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So he might do that like 2 or 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we had some fun. I had one of the best steaks. I went to Luger's. Eddie Luger's in Caesars? Had a really good steak. And
Aussie Expat would know that because he goes to Caesar's Palace on occasion. But I mean, like all the hotels. But I mean, the major hotels, he's probably popping in and out. But I don't recall seeing that one when I was there. Yeah.
And then there's this thing called the Hofbrau House, which is south of the Strip.
Mhm.
And it's a small chain. There's like 3 or 4 of them in America, most of them in the Midwest. And it's a very authentic German restaurant. And so we had really good like sauerbraten.
Oh, really?
Nice. Oh,
that sounds great. I'll look that up. Hofbrau House in Las Vegas.
Yeah. And it's definitely worth. It's like near Paradise, and it's like a few blocks south of of like Mandalay Bay or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll look that up. But after the show, I'll save that for later. I'm not going to read your comment, AD. It's kind of vile. But
Also, we got to go. The one thing I had to do is I had to go to the pepper mill, and we went there, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
that sounds familiar. I may have been there. What is the pepper
It's
mill?
like a diner. It's a diner with a bar attached, and it's way
Uh-huh.
up. It's across the street from Circus Circus. It used to be right next to where
Is it
the
a strip
beer.
place?
No, 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 no. It's a restaurant it's sort of like Denny's, but it's much better. So you go in there's a huge line. You have to wait an hour. But if you say you're okay to eat at the counter, then you can get in quicker. So we went in, then we went over to the bar. We sat in the bar. We had some drinks. We chatted with some guys that were also waiting for food. Then we get called and we sit right at the counter, right where all the cute waitresses are coming and going, and all the
Mm-hmm.
people are cooking the meals, and just had this amazing. I got just a traditional bacon and egg breakfast that was absolutely perfect.
Really? Okay, I'll save that. I'll look that up and save that too. Because I might go back again for some bizarre reason.
Yeah. So and yeah, I was that's up near the Trump Tower, and I wanted to pop in at least, but it was like 100 degrees, and just popping in.
Yeah, yeah.
We walked up from there. We went to the circus. We actually won a lot of money at this what they call this slots of fun or something that's sort of attached to the circus.
Okay.
Yeah, at the good old school, the cheaper like 25-cent slot machines.
You actually went to Circus?
Yeah, we walked. We actually, well, I felt a
Wow.
little bit bad because we actually walked around the top to see all the, they still have the circus acts,
Yeah.
and they still have the arcade games. And I'm telling my friend, hey, two middle-aged guys walking around, and we don't have any kids, and this looks suspicious. So as soon as we kind of did a.
I think just entering Circus is suspicious.
Yeah. Well, we came in through slots of fun, which a lot of
Right,
adults were there
right,
because
right.
we're playing slot machines, and then we actually went up to the Strat because his mother and father, I guess a long time ago, you could buy a brick, and they would put it on the wall, and they put your name on it.
Uh-huh.
And so for the longest time, all these people had their brick on the wall of the Strat, and then of course they got new owners and they tore all that out.
Oh,
So
that's
my
good.
friend was going to see if they could find that. They'd put if they'd stuck it in a corner or something, but no, it was gone.
Wow.
And but that was a long walk, and then trying to get back to where the monorail was. Oh yeah, we went to the new one, that big blue building, the Fontainebleau.
The Fountain Blue. Yeah, Fountain
Yeah,
Blue.
that was nice on the inside. That's gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
But,
Yeah, I didn't go there. I didn't. Look
they
at
had
that.
a monorail stop, so that's why we went in there, and then
Oh,
we
I see. Right.
to get back to because we were at Harrah's. That's where we stayed at Harrah's. So.
Right. I've been there. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, since you have some background on this, do you have any opinion on this meteor thing, whatever it's called, heading towards Earth? Do you think it's an
that
alien
30
craft or
that
just
3i Atlas
interstellar?
thing?
Yeah, that thing. Is it just interstellar rock, or is it a craft, and do you even care?
Well, I mean, there's this one guy named Lieb who's he's actually a well-respected, or he used to be a well-respected physicist or astrophysicist.
Yeah.
Who's got a lot of published papers and stuff, and he still thinks that Uma or whatever the thing that came before,
Yeah.
he thinks that was alien technology, and people believe that they have. They got enough evidence to say no, it was just a weird shaped rock that was probably kicked off of a planet when there was a supernova, or when some two planets hit each other or whatever. And that's what they would say. That I guess I thought it was 31, but I guess it's 3i Atlas.
That's it. Yeah.
And they're saying that it's glowing more, and that it looks like it's increased in size, and all this other stuff. And again, to me, it just seems to me like it's going to end up being just a rogue planet, or a rogue part of a planet that's come from some other solar system that just there's all these solar systems that have 2 or 3 suns in them, and that's very chaotic when you have more than one sun. We have this one. We're very lucky to have one sun because everything else is tiny compared to it, and we all go around in these really nice orbits. And so our orbit is slightly elliptical, but it's mostly circular, and so we have the same weather pretty much throughout the year. and we don't get hotter or colder. But
Mm.
if you were a planet in one of these solar systems that had 2 or 3 suns, imagine how chaotic that would be. You'd be zipping all over the place because first you're pulled by this sun, then that sun, then the third
Right.
sun.
Right.
And what will happen is sometimes they'll get so much velocity from all these changing things that they'll get shot out of their solar system, and they'll end up heading our way. And they'll, and they're saying that whatever hit the Earth might have been one of those that created the moon. You probably heard that theory, right? I don't think that was something in our solar system. I think that was something that came out from some other place and just happened to clip us, and then that's where we got the moon from. So
if this 3i Atlas somehow changes its course and heads directly towards Earth, and NASA can say and NASA, MIT could say exactly the date of impact, would you really care that much?
Well, I told my brother. Actually, I asked my brother. I said, "How long do you want to live?" And he's like, he just turned like Medicare age, like 65 or so.
Yeah.
He says, "I'd like to live to 95." And I said, "Okay." And then I told him, "I just want to be very honest with you. If something bad happened to me tomorrow, I lived a long life. I wasn't the best possible life, but I've done enough. I'm happy." So yeah, if this thing is headed to Earth, I'm not going to be one of those guys running around, trying to get my last bit of hurrah, or I don't know, stealing stuff that I'm not going to be able to use.
You're not going to be a target stealing left shoes, and because you can't find the right matching shoe. You're just going to steal flat screen TVs and sneakers,
so that you can watch it for 5 minutes until you get blown away.
Right.
No,
exactly.
I'm going to have like a shotgun with all my shells pointing at the front door.
Yeah,
and
right.
I'm going to be listening to my favorite, Beethoven or Bach or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
Just keep the assholes at bay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if it's gonna come targeted to Earth, I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other things. I mean,
there's nothing anyone can do about it, and it wouldn't be the first time there's a complete extinction event. So, yeah, that's it.
Because the thing is,
I wouldn't have to pay any more StreamYard bills every month. That would be one benefit.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to hit us. I mean, if it's big enough and it comes close, it could tweak our orbit, and that could be, bad as well, right? What would be great is if it crashed into Mars. That would be the fun thing, because we could see that, because there was that meteor that crashed into Jupiter, and that was fun to watch, right? And if it was big enough and it crashed into Mars, and it was able to get their magnetic field or something going again, so that Mars could keep an atmosphere, and so that we could actually live there, that would be cool. That would be an interesting thing if it could do something to Mars, so that it would get their plate tectonics moving again and their magnetic field going again, so they're like Earth, and they can keep the solar wind from, stripping off the atmosphere. Then over time, the atmosphere will build up, and then then people could live there. We could land there because there'd be an atmosphere, so that
we could grow marijuana and mushrooms there.
Exactly. Elon would be all happy.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, that'd be the best thing to happen. Or if it somehow crashed into Venus, and it stopped all the volcanic activity there, so it cools off Venus.
And what if it crashed into the sun? Would that explode the universe?
No, I think that would just get eaten up.
Would it? You think? Okay, it wouldn't explode the solar system. I mean,
the worst that would happen is if it was the wrong angle and stuff. It might cause one of these solar flares to go off to the Earth, and then we'd lose it'd be like a giant EMP, and the electric grid would go out.
Right.
But we could be able to recover from that, right?
Well, the thing about a shotgun is it's EMP proof.
Exactly. There's I'm not going to have any electric sights or laser whatever point. Just gonna. I don't need a laser pointer for a shotgun.
Yeah. Would an EMP destroy all like alkaline batteries and Duracell batteries? Would those be affected or no?
If they were in your
like the Duracell batteries are in your your basic flashlight, and the flashlight's on, the EMP hits, would it wipe out the flashlight?
Yeah, but I think if you had batteries just sitting around the house, like in their packages, I
Yeah.
don't those would be affected.
Uh-huh.
I think
Right.
that's something you could ask Google, and they'd be able to tell you.
Right.
I asked it some pretty interesting questions, and it gave me some answers that actually made sense.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool things that could happen, and there's a couple of really bad things that could happen. But again, I'm with you. It's like if it hits Earth, it's like I've lived long enough. I mean, it'd be
Well,
nice.
it's a case of you can't do anything about it, and it wouldn't be the first time. There's been multiple extinction events over the billions of years, so yeah, that's it.
There's actually an interesting movie, and I want to see it. I've been putting off called Melancholia, and I think it's
Okay.
like a Swedish movie.
Uh-huh.
And the premise is that there is something like a rogue planet that's about to hit the Earth,
Mm-hmm.
the scientists have figured out it's going to hit the Earth on this particular day, and there's this family that they follow, and one person's like, okay, they've resigned themselves to it, and they're okay, they're just going to let it hit, and they're going to be okay. And the other person's all upset. They had all these plans for their life, and now it's going to be destroyed, and they're all depressed.
Mm.
And then, for whatever reason, this rogue planet misses the Earth. And so now what happens is, but then, for a while there was a yay, we missed it, it missed us. But then, because of the gravitational fields, it comes back and it's going to hit the Earth for sure the second time.
Ah.
But by the second time, the person that was like resigned to this thing happening, now that they've switched, and they're like all upset that it's going to destroy their life, because after this thing missed, they're like, oh wow, I've got my whole life ahead of me. And then the other person who was all excited about life is now like, oh geez, it's going to hit. Okay, that's it. We had our chance, but now we're screwed. And so all these different emotions change over time, and it's supposedly beautifully filmed, and the couple of outtakes I've seen are gorgeous.
Yeah, here it is. I see it. Melancholia from 2011.
So I might want to watch that. I think it's on Tubi or one of those other freebie places.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to say something about that. Was that Keanu Reeves Wick?
John Wick.
John Wick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I watched the first three, and it's silly, right? I mean, the amount of punishment these people receive, either by karate chops or gun shots,
Right,
or what, or
right.
knife wounds, they should be dead like in the first 10 seconds. But they end up fighting for an hour, right? And they
Right.
have these long scenes, and it is silly, and it's more like comic book stuff. They're not superheroes, but they have kind of super healing abilities, I guess. It seems. And I kind of like the idea that in order to meet the next set of challenges, he has to essentially sell his soul to somebody. He's got to give them. He's got to agree to somebody to do something for him, so that he can get money, so he can buy guns or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
every movie, it's a different thing he has to sacrifice in order to get what he needs to get through the next episode. So that's kind of a cool premise.
Well, he's got all those gold coins or whatever they are that apparently he's got a shitload of money to buy whatever he needs and do
Yeah,
what he.
but he's made promises and stuff, and if you go through the whole thing, it gets deeper and deeper, and so yeah, it's silly, and it's mostly it's just a bunch of people shooting at each other and karate chopping each other and stuff, and I think there's a little bit of
a lot of headshots, exploding heads with headshots.
Yeah, so but
that's his specialty. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so yeah. Can you explain?
I would think a gun nut like you would love that. There was the library or whatever it was, and they had every gun
yeah.
on the wall. And it was
Now, can you explain this hotel that he goes to with the guy, the weird desk clerk, and the weird hotel owner, and the people who go there, and like, what is that hotel thing?
So, around the world, there are a bunch of assassins, and Keanu Reeves was one of these assassins.
Right.
And this, the hotel is like a demilitarized zone. It's like when you're in this hotel, you can't kill anybody. So it's like a place you can go, like a refuge. So
everyone there is an assassin.
Correct. Everybody there is
Or
an
in that kind of business, right? Right.
exactly, and they all want to kill each other because there's money to be made. Especially when like there's a time when John Wick's name gets put. That there's that weird like office with all the women in there. They're almost like like they work at the phone company, and
Oh
they're
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
they're basically collecting the next victim. They
Oh,
collect all
I
the
see.
victims' names, and when he gets on the name, then it's like, okay, we all want to kill him, but we can't because he's in the hotel. They got to wait till he gets out of the hotel.
Oh, there was that scene. Maybe it was John Wick 2, where this guy, one of his guys who's as good as John Wick, he's chasing him through New York, and they crash into the hotel.
Okay,
And the owner of the hotel guy, says, "All right, stop." And so they sit together and have a drink together, but they can't fight and kill each other because it's
exactly.
not allowed in the hotel.
And then ultimately, I don't know which episode, they actually have a shootout in the hotel,
Yeah,
and so then John Wick is expelled from the
he's
hotel,
expelled. Right, that was number 2. Yeah.
and then even the owner is brought into question because there's supposedly there seems to be some kind of board of people you never see, and because he allowed that to happen in the hotel, they're going to take the hotel away from him, so now he's going to
Mm.
be on the run. So there's all that kind of stuff going on, so it gets more and more chaotic as things go on, and so that's kind of a cool thing. And I like
Yeah.
the guy, the bellhop, the black bellhop guy. I mean, I've seen him in other things. He's really intense. I mean, he's like this real skinny, muscular guy that you wouldn't
Oh, I
like.
mean the desk clerk
The
guy.
desk clerk. Yeah, I thought he was, because I've seen
Yeah,
him
he
other.
was a he
Yeah.
was an interesting character. Yeah. Um, Forgot what I was going to say. Um, it's an old trope: honor amongst assassins. Kill Bill did something stupid. Yeah, right. Which takes the secret society thing. Which is, yeah, there were a couple lines of dialogue when he was at the hotel, or where Wick was like talking to the desk clerk or something, and it was a little bit of humor amongst all, inserted in between all the head blowing, uh, exploding heads and killing everybody. But like, can I get my suit pressed here or something? I don't
Yeah,
remember what it was.
exactly. And it turns out that the suits have like super kind of thin Kevlar that keeps
Yeah,
them
or
from
something. I
getting
don't know.
shot and stuff. So that's kind of
Well,
cool.
yeah, I mean, he just was killing like 100 people, and he's bloody, and his arm is broken, and he's scarred up, and he walks into the hotel, and he sees the desk clerk, and I mean, there's some humor there, but it's
Yeah, no, I
whatever.
mean it's the kind of humor like when you go to Terminator. I like
Right?
Terminator because it was mostly exciting, but every once in a while he'd say things like "Hasta la vista, baby," and that was a little bit funny, right? So he
Yeah,
got some
right,
funny
right.
things in.
The
But
Bum King was peak hilarity. What's the Bum King? I don't know. But again, Kill Bill single-handedly ended the whole shaky cam super quick. Okay. Right. Okay.
yeah, there's been some bad action films where they either because they didn't have enough money or whatever, and they just had the camera shake to make it look more exciting than it really was.
Yeah, I've never been into the shaking camera technique. It's just awful. It
The
detracts
one
from what's going on screen. What's
There was
going on? I mean,
yeah, there was a movie there's a series of movies that are a little bit more realistic in terms of the amount of damage they do to people and what they go on, and that's the Bourne
I've
series.
never. Well, that's Matt Damon, so I've never seen any of those movies.
And I'm not a big fan of him, but in that movie he actually does a good job. And
Okay. Well,
the amount of injury that he goes through, it makes sense. And then he keeps it with him. If he busted his arm, his arm is busted for a while at least. It doesn't just all of a sudden magically get better and stuff. So and it's not it's obviously a little bit beyond what would happen in real life, but it's not so much beyond that. It's like superhero stuff.
hmm wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe they are good films, but if it's Matt Damon, I'm just not going to watch it. So just
Yeah,
me.
there's I don't know. I just saw him in something called what's it, the Assortment Bureau or something like that.
I don't know.
Adjustment Bureau, the Adjustment Bureau. He he bumps into this woman accidentally, and there's like this talk about secret society. There's a whole group of people living beneath in a separate reality that adjust things in life to keep things going the right way. So he accidentally bumps into this woman, and they want to keep it, the two of them, apart. And so he spends the whole movie trying to, reconnect with this woman,
Mhm.
and they kept trying to split them apart. And and they finally reveal it near the end why they want to keep them apart. And then at the very end, of course, love prevails, and they allow them to come together, and they say, well, we'll see what happens. But it's kind of an interesting premise, that they like, when you walk through a door, you go outside, but when they walk through a door, all of a sudden they're in this big giant hall with all
Mm.
these gadgets and gizmos and stuff. And so there's like this, it's kind of a weird, like, sideways reality that's going on. So it's
Oh,
kind of it's kind of
yeah.
interesting, but in the end, so, I'll
We
see.
have another guest, Aussie Expat. Are you there?
Yeah, nice to
Hey,
meet
how's it
you.
going?
Yeah, it was good. I love the movie talk. I just want to like get your thought. Like, I mean, did you at least like the action in John Wick, Morty?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's yeah, but I mean, I don't understand 2 hours of just shooting people in their heads and watching heads explode. I don't get that, and why is that quality entertainment?
I
I
didn't
don't.
notice a lot of heads exploding. I think I got
Oh
shot
yeah,
in
yeah,
the arm.
everybody he shoots in the head. He shoots every, that's his thing.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, there was some slight bits of humor here and there, and I don't have any problems with Keanu Reeves. He's very
Hmm.
watchable, and he doesn't irritate me at all like those other actors I can't stand. But I just found it just ridiculous story, and but it was
Yeah,
watchable. But I
I
mean,
agree. It gets
yeah,
ridiculous.
I mean,
There's a part, I think it's either two or three, where they reveal that all the homeless people in the world are actually also part of the secret society, but they're like an anti-assassin secret society or something. It's like
oh
just
well, in two, when he was running
outrageous.
through New York and all that, all the homeless people, everybody was
That's it.
after him
That's it.
because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
programmed their pager system, get John Wick and kill him, and all these homeless people, had
But
guns
then,
and
then,
everything.
then there was like the leader of all of the bums. It's just so ridiculous and
It
stupid.
was like Oliver. They were doing Oliver.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oliver meets
Wow.
a kung fu movie. The death, the
Oh my god! But
Yeah.
the
But
Bourne movies like were the worst of the shaky cam. But the Bourne movies were better than the Bond movies of the same time period.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, all right.
especially number one. If anything, just watch number one. Don't worry about the rest of them.
Of the Bourne film.
Yeah, yeah. Just watch the first one. Doug Liman is a great
Now,
director.
both of you guys saw John Wick 3. Is that right?
yeah, I saw it.
Why
It's
would you
been a
watch
long
3
time.
after having seen 1 and 2? What would compel you to go ahead and watch 3?
Well, it
It's
falls the latest as well, by the way. But
is
Oh,
that the
really? Yeah.
ballerina one?
no, 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 no. Ballerina's after four.
Okay, so I'm not. The reason I watched 3 was the same reason I read the whole stupid book from that Swedish communist guy, the spider. What was it?
The girl with the dragon tattoo or
The girl
whatever.
with the dragon tattoo.
Mm.
What happened? The guy was a master. What he would do is he would end the action one paragraph or two before the end of the chapter, and
Mm,
then he would start up some other action. So
mm.
then you'd have to read chapter 2 because he'd get you caught up.
Hmm.
And then you'd read chapter 2, and instead of ending the action at the end, he would have a couple extra paragraphs. And then once you read that, you had to go to chapter 3. And that's
Hmm.
what John Wick is like. When they end the season 1, there's some stuff that's kind of left up in the air, and you want to know what the ending is. And so you have to go to 2 to figure out what's going on. And the same thing with 2. There's something at the end and that's that's how 24 worked. 24, I
Yeah.
got sucked into that thing, and every time they would kill somebody, or they would get the information, and that would be like 5 minutes before the end of the show. They have a commercial, and then that next 5 minutes some bad thing would happen, and then
Yeah.
you'd have to watch the next episode.
24 is amazing though. I'm currently trying to rewatch all of it before it completely loses
Who
context. But
stars in 24?
uh, Kiefer Sutherland,
All right, that
and
was from years ago. I never saw
his
that.
character is legitimately bona fide the greatest action hero in all of movie and TV.
Holy shit.
Yeah, by far. by far.
It's amazing
But,
what you just said.
so you've watched 24 Spring in Fialta?
I think the only series I missed, which I kind of wish, was the second, where that woman, the evil woman, played a most important part. Like it was like drug dealers or something. I think that was the one series that I missed. I think I got the first. There was talk about great characters. The guy who played the president that sort of was supposed to be like Nixon.
Amazing.
Oh,
amazing.
That guy was
amazing.
That guy. And then
I cannot talk about what happens in 24, but there are things in 24 that I just make me leap up and down for joy. And I'm just like, yes, that's right. That's right.
Wow.
You'd love it, Morty. Like there's
all right.
there's
I never
parts
watched it because
Here,
Kiefer
I'll
Sutherland.
give one part away.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Kiefer Sutherland, but I don't have any attitude about him. But I just never watched it.
Yeah, he's good. So there's a part where they decide to round up all of the Muslims in America and throw them in concentration camps or detention camps, whatever. And it's all like huge injustice, blah, blah, blah. But you realize like during episode 2, I think, that it has actually thwarted a terrorist attack. it's like, and you see like it's like, oh, how do we get out of this detention? And that's the story of 24, is that they make all of these really, really tough decisions that you cannot make, and sometimes they pay off,
right?
And sometimes they don't. So they don't leave the moral quandary at like, oh, you can't do that. We're not doing that. It's like, you know what?
We're gonna go there.
Torture doesn't work, but maybe torture works. it's like oh,
well, that was kind of done in. I really like that movie. I mean, it was really well done. Sicario, Day of the Soldado, or something.
Right.
Oh, those were good.
In the second one, and he gets this Somali terrorist pirate guy, and he shows him his laptop, and he says, "This is your house, and your family's there."
Did you know what footwear Josh Brolin was wearing as he's doing this?
No idea.
He was wearing a pair of Crocs.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's walking around.
No, I thought he was very, very good in the movie. Yeah.
Horrifying. So they actually had a scene very much like that in 24, actually, where there's like a drone, and they've got someone who's got information, and they're just systematically picking off his family.
Yeah.
With the drone. So that actually appeared in 24. Before it appeared in Sicario.
Okay,
it's only coming up now that we're talking about both things. I'm like, you know what? That was almost exactly the same as 24.
Yeah, because he says, you won't do it. And he goes, listen, this isn't America, and I'll do whatever the fuck I want. And, whatever. But
Josh Brolin in that moment is like really channeling his very best.
He was very, very good. And the other guy, who played his buddy fighting
Benicio del Toro.
He was terrific. Very good. What a face. Wow. Yeah.
There was like I don't know if you saw, there's this black guy who does the commercials for All Hands, Allstate commercials. He played a good president. He played like a decent president.
Yes, yeah.
And that was a very
interesting. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
We can't spoil it for him. We can't spoil it for him. You can't.
But I'm just going to say his wife is interesting. She's like the Hillary Clinton of the whole thing. But there is one scene. I don't know which series it is, but it's kind of interesting that, there's some that are about bioterrorism.
No, you can't. You're giving too much away. If
you okay.
Which character?
Yeah. Well, I'll look up 24 and see where it's available.
But if you like that scene where Josh Brolin is picking off his family members, and it's fundamentally working, it's like, this is nasty. You know what I mean? That's basically all of 24. It's Jack Bauer going committing crimes but saving America. You know?
Yeah. He in that scene, when Josh Brolin walked in, he goes, "Don't worry, we're not going to waterboard you."
Yeah.
OC's ball washer says, "Morty, if you're in the mood to view intense violence, would you rather watch a John Wick film? Well, I've seen 1 and 2, or people watching downtown Portland. Oh, I'd love for the National Guard to come in and go all out mayhem with the degenerates and Antifa anarchists.
Go
I'd go
medieval on
downtown and join in. I mean,
the
great.
people that spend half their time in Antifa and half their time at the medieval fairs, right, or the Renaissance fairs. Go get medieval on their ass. They may actually like it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So last word on John Wick, number 4. It's a very long movie, like 2.5 hours or something. The third act is almost a complete remake of The Warriors. Do you remember The Warriors?
I never saw that.
Oh, okay.
I know the movie. I never saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's about like a whole bunch of different gangs all over New York, and they all have like these wacky themes, almost like pro wrestling, honestly. And they're chasing down this one gang called the Warriors across New York, and it's just this roaming battle across the city, and it's really
Isn't that like
and
Escape
fun.
from New York?
No, it's more about like one night and just survival, quote unquote.
Oh, also, it's kind of like Death Wish 3 or 5, where Charles Bronson goes to meet a friend in the Bronx.
Yeah, a little Death Wishy. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a gang there of all these white people in makeup, and Martin Balsam, who's Charles Bronson's friend who gets killed, he has a bazooka or a missile.
Yeah.
Oh God,
he has a missile launcher. So at the end, when this gang leader is crawling into the window to knife Charles Bronson, he pulls out the missile launcher and blows him into smithereens in the apartment.
It still strikes me as very weird that in the first Death Wish movie, the gang that harms his family, they're a weirdly multiracial gang.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's like, these Italians and whiteys and blacks and Hispanics.
But that was like 1973,
but it's so like, why is the gang multiracial? Like, it just seems so absurd. Even a wokey is not going to write about.
Well, that's an interesting observation. Yeah,
that's interesting because that was woke before everybody was woke.
I know. Is it just like, why is this gang multiracial? Like, that's just craziness. Like, what? How does that even happen?
That's a very interesting observation. Yeah.
God. Anyway, there's been a lot of great action movies, and I actually prefer the ones where they pretend to be real human beings and not the superhero ones where they can pull a super power out of the hat and solve the day. Kind of thing. I mean, there was the thing in Superman where he went around the Earth backwards to.
Oh yeah.
Time. I mean, this is crazy.
That could have gone better. Like, just a subtle touch. Like, they shouldn't have shown him turning it back the other way. If all he did was just go out and just go and go really fast, you could surmise that he's going back in time. But literally spinning the Earth back in the correct direction again is like, yeah, okay, you were so close to pulling this one off. But
you want to talk about something that's politically incorrect. So this planet that they're from is supposed to be more compassionate than Earth, right? So they have those 3 criminals, and they put them in like a crystal or something, right?
Yes.
They're in a crystal.
The Phantom Zone, actually.
They're floating around in space. Is that better than or worse than capital punishment, man? And they're screaming. That's what you see. You see them screaming, and they're like and that's like for eternity, right? And the only thing that brings them out is like there was some kind of atomic explosion on Earth or something that frees them.
Yes.
It's like, okay, you're the compassionate ones. It's like, I don't think so.
Well, I think that was intentional. Like, they were trying to show that the society that Superman came from wasn't an admirable one. They were more advanced, but they weren't more admirable.
Oh, I thought it was the opposite way. They were advanced and they were more compassionate and thoughtful, so they didn't kill people. That's what I thought. Maybe I misinterpreted that. I was just a kid.
I'm impressed you guys recall so much about Superman. That was 80s.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's a matter of like they don't kill or they do kill. It's more that how do you say, like, it's not clear that they're more admirable. Like, it's like,
Okay.
as you point out, like they just assign them to a fate worse than death. So
Exactly.
yeah, kind of nuts. Morty, I pulled up a wiki with the gang from Death Wish 1, and
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not
if
missing
you
like
want to,
ethnicity: white, black, and Hispanic. I'm like,
right.
wow, they're gonna
Yeah, that
get
is
along in prison. It's
interesting
like,
that you
what's
mentioned
going
that.
on?
Yeah.
But
And they had
Superman
like,
1,
oh, that was Death Wish 3 or 5. They had the Mohawk hairdos and all that crazy shit. Yeah,
so
yeah.
Superman 1, I still love. My wife and I, we watch that movie like every couple of years. I've got that on Blu-ray. We still love the first
Wow.
Superman movie just a lot. Just Christopher Reeve was just incredible in that role. And
Wow.
yeah,
Well,
All I
that was
remember from that movie is Krypton. It's going to explode, and Marlon Brando. All that. And then I remember
right.
the baby, the ship, the missile, whatever, the rocket. I mean, lands in Glenn Ford's Kansas farm,
Yeah.
and he raises him from childhood, and then he has a heart attack, which was a very nice little scene, very well
Mm.
done. That is all I remember from that.
The real core of the movie for us is like the relationship between Lois and Clark.
Mm.
And it's, it's all this very fun where she's very dismissive of Clark, but she's like a little girl in Superman's hands basically. And so it culminates near the end where she's dead and Superman just cannot take it, and he defies every rule that his father's set out for him, and
Mm.
it changes the course of history
I
just
don't
to
remember
save
anything
Lois.
about the movie like that. Yeah.
I just like Gene Hackman and Ned Beatty as the they were really great as the
They were
evil.
fantastic, and I
Yeah.
love Miss
Mm.
Tessmacher. She's just the best.
Hmm. I
Well,
remember Gene Hackman, but I don't remember which movie it was, and I just don't remember much about it.
no, it was the first one. I don't know if he was in any more after that, but he was
Mm.
definitely the first one.
He wasn't in number 2, but he was in number 2. So he didn't act any further scenes, but number 2 still had him, and they just had someone stand in with a wig
Oh
with their
God.
back to the camera. So all his any additional footage is always just him not actually facing the
Mm.
screen,
Well, that
the
reminds
camera.
there was this was it Plan 9 from Outer Space where was it not Lon Chaney, it was the other guy that died in the middle of the movie, and so they had to have somebody
Oh,
pretend to be
Bela
him.
Lugosi.
Yeah, Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Oh God, that was a good movie, Ed Wood. Anyway, that's a completely different thing.
I
But
saw that. That was on New York TV all the time when they had those movies. Well, anyway, and I used to watch that as a kid. As a 5-year-old kid, I thought it was pretty good. And it's a little kid, but yeah,
well, I'm gonna have to take off. So yeah,
yeah.
I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Great,
All
great
right.
thing to.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to check out this Darley gang. Make sure they don't in my neighborhood.
Right, right.
Anyway, talk to you guys later.
All
Good
right.
night.
Thanks a lot. See you, Spring.
The first 2 Superman movies was actually written by Mario Puzo of The Godfather.
Okay. Yeah, I don't recall that at all. All right.
So he wrote The Godfather, and he also wrote Superman. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Now, The Godfather. I've watched that movie. I don't know how many times. It's just so beautifully done. I mean, it's yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Superman, they're super underrated. I think people don't realize like it's actually good. It's still good. And especially perhaps if you get like the new Donner cut, because they really sort of the producers really screwed around with the making of that movie a lot. So they filmed, it was one of the first films, or maybe the first film that tried to shoot both the initial movie and the sequel at the same time, and it just went through too much overrun, and so the initial director said, I'm done with you guys, but I'm going to try finish the first movie. But all of the story was kind of like messed up. Like what was supposed to take place over 2 movies ended up almost entirely being in the first movie. And then like the second movie kind of has to retcon and redo a few things that happened from the first movie.
Who was the villain in Superman 2?
Superman 2 is all of the General Zod, the guys who are locked in that Phantom Zone.
Was Robert Vaughn in Superman 2?
Robert Vaughn.
You don't know? Okay. Or maybe 3. I don't remember. I didn't really pay that much attention to those movies.
Yeah. Let's see. No, that was Superman 3.
3, okay, yeah.
Horrifying.
Mm.
That one, Richard Pryor is some sort of genius with an AI, and Superman has to defeat Silicon Valley, basically. It's just crazy stupid. Superman 4 was even worse. Horrifying movie. Yeah, it's really sad how that series ended up. It's so bad. Very, very sad. But I'm surprised you haven't really put a lot of time in with the Superman movies because, Seinfeld was always enthralled in Superman. Like, I think it's like every second episode of Seinfeld makes a reference to Superman. Oh, we've lost Crappy. We've lost Morty. So the one Superman movie I haven't seen is Supergirl, and I'm not exactly sure why. I think it's not the easiest thing to actually find at all. Like they don't bundle the Supergirl movie with any of the Superman movies, although I think it's same production. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. In the comic books, I've always liked Supergirl. She's kind of like a bad guy, but I don't think that she actually is covered very well in the movie. And we also have. I keep a track of all the movies I've been watching lately. The most recent ones I've seen Tron Legacy, because the new movie Tron Ares is coming out next week, I think. And yeah, what was it? Kaczynski was the director for Tron Legacy. Makes very beautiful movies. So Kaczynski recently did Top Gun Maverick and the new Formula One movie. So yeah, all of those movies are visually really, really good. He sort of seems to want to be like the new Jerry Bruckheimer. Well, I mean, Jerry Bruckheimer is, I guess, a producer rather than director. I mean, he's sort of like Michael Bay without the explosions. So not necessarily full of substance, but the movies should mechanically move along pretty well. Legacy, amazing sound, amazing visuals, but man, it's kind of a boring movie. It's kind of boring and takes a long time to get not much done, which is quite disappointing. And there's a clear line between what they show in Ares and Legacy, because in Legacy the whole movie was revolving around Clue taking the disc off, I forget his name's back, and then being able to launch an army and put them through a portal into Earth, and then be able to take over Earth. So clearly in Ares they've found a way to get out of the video game and into the real world. I don't know if that's going to be that cool, honestly. like it's one thing to be in a video game, it's another for the video game to be in the world. But I hope the audio is good. I'll be seeing it at the One Dolby Theater here in Las Vegas, and see how it compares to my home theater, which is, yeah, so I'll grab the Blu-ray when it finally comes out and then be able to compare. Looking at So that's my Blu-ray list here. Blu-rays. Oh, watched Reign of Fire recently. That's Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey fighting dragons. The movie's a little bit easier to understand from the perspective that it's directed by Rob Bowman, who created the X-Files. And man, you know what? X-Files was really, really good. I recently got a hold of season 1, and right from the first few episodes, they're like right into it, like Cancer Man and aliens and everything. So it's like they really get into it right from the word go in X-Files. So I need to find time to watch all of that again. I feel so guilty about life and what I spend my time on. I feel like I should rewatch all of my favorite series. I should watch all the movies. I should play all the games. But you know, that's all stuff I can do when I don't have a healthy body and a young family, and I should really be focusing on more of the outdoor stuff. All right, I'm not going to single-handedly at 1:30 a.m. hold Morty's stream together. It does appear that whatever technical problem he had is a little bit longer, so I'm gonna bid adieu and have a good night.